going on.
Thank you so much.
Feel like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ, you up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. I'm Mike Babcock with my guy, as always, Mojo Muhtadi. Mojo, we're going to start with the highly anticipated return to Dallas for NBA superstar Luka Doncic. This is, of course, the first time that the NBA MVP has returned to his former home. The first time that he has ever worn a different jersey on that court in Dallas. And it was an emotional night, Mojo. An emotional night for Luka. An emotional night for the crowd. Now, the Lakers ended up winning this game. They won by a handful of points, and Luka balled out.
When it sunk in, I was shocked. And I was just like, why would the Lakers or Dallas do this? Why would Dallas do this than anything?
Please turn your attention to the video board for a special tribute video.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
At guard, in his 7th season from Slovenia, number 77, Luka Doncic!
Josh, you're right. It really is bizarre to hear a visiting player get cheered every time he touches the ball. Go in the second. James whips the pass. Hachimura. Doncic. Nobody near him. And connects on a three. 21 points in 12 minutes. Doncic surveying the court, makes his move, goes past Lively, and banks it home. Doncic steps back, three-pointer. It's good. Rattles it home. 43 points for Doncic. Doncic inside, puts it up and in. 45 for Doncic. Plenty of Luka love. Now will come out of the game.
A lot of emotions. When I woke up, I was tired. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't sleep much. I was excited about this game, and I really appreciate the fans, the way they reacted to me.
Super dope. Super happy to be a part of that. It was great. That was an unbelievable moment. Something I'll probably never forget.
To have the emotional resolve to then go put on that kind of performance, it's superhuman.
You know, Mojo, it started very emotionally. Obviously, you could see the tears in Luka Doncic's eyes. And then to see every time he got that basketball in his hands, and as he took shot after shot and made shot after shot, and to hear the crowd erupt each time. I mean, I don't think I can't remember ever seeing anything like that before. You don't really cheer for the opposing player, even if he used to be the star of your own franchise. But last night, Luka, he scores 45 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. The guy they traded for was Anthony Davis, of course. He did not have nearly as good a game. I mean, he had a double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds, but still, 45 points on a great shooting performance by Luka Doncic. It was incredible, Mojo. Then you had the Fire Nico chants. Nico Harrison, of course, the GM, who made this move, who sent Luka to Los Angeles. There he was, as 17,000, 18,000 people or so, Mojo, chanted his name. Fire Nico, and he stood there stoically. And then the camera shows Mark Cuban, the former owner, who just put his face in his hands, Mojo. What else could you do last night if you were a Dallas Mavericks fan? This was an unmitigated disaster, the way I see it.
I don't even know where to start with this one, Babcock. I could spend the whole show talking about this one, but Luka was the home team. Forget the Lakers, forget the Mavericks. Luka was the star of the show, as he should have been, in his feels naturally. I mean, people always forget. I mean, yes, it is a business and people are going to act within their own business interests. But Luka did not want to leave. He was emotional. I mean, he was torn away from his family and his friends to go play for another franchise. I mean, so this is not exactly like this was something that he was lobbying for. So being able to come back and play against a team that gave you away, that didn't want you, of course you're going to beat the crap out of them. The ownership, the management of the Mavericks are absolute fools for doing this. Obviously, they're hearing this nonstop every single day. You could hear it in the fans. That's why the fans were chanting for Luka the whole game, because they all knew how badly of a bonehead move that was. That was so dumb. But, you know, Mark Cuban, obviously this is a team that matters a lot to him. When you sell the team, your claim to the team, of course, dissipates. You can't, it's just not your franchise anymore, but it doesn't take away from the fact that his heart and his soul were invested into this. So to see the team handled so poorly immediately after him stepping down, that's got to get you in your feels as well. But man, what a crazy game, going head to head with his old team and just showing them firsthand in real time what a mistake they made. But again, at the end of the day, it's still an emotional night for him. Vengeance wasn't probably the leading emotion here.
Right, yeah, Mojo. And for the people who have questioned why Luka got so emotional, I think you've got to look at it like this. He came over here from Slovenia. He is not from America. He moves to Dallas as a teenager and becomes an NBA superstar, where he is now known worldwide as one of the best basketball players. And I think you can't help but be emotional for something like that. I imagine he is, furious still at Nico Harrison for getting rid of him. But he loves those fans. He loves the city. And it was a tough, tough night for him. But Lakers are victorious. They are moving on to the NBA playoffs. It's an exciting time for basketball in Los Angeles. But what a night in Big D. Coming up, a day after cops were called for a domestic dispute at his home, Tyreek Hill's wife files for divorce. The very latest on a bizarre situation in South Beach when TMZ Sports returns right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike, Mojo, and Edward. Guys, it's a crazy time for Tyreek Hill. There's a ton of uncertainty about what's going to happen on the football field for the all-pro wide receiver. And now, Edward, there is a lot of uncertainty in Tyreek Hill's personal life, because earlier this week he had an alleged domestic dispute with his now estranged wife, Keita.
Yeah, according to a Sunny Isles Beach Police Department incident report we obtained, at around 2 p.m. on Monday, Keita Vaccaro's mother, Alicia Vaccaro, Keita Vaccaro is Tyreek's now estranged wife, called cops over an argument the two were apparently having on their 35th floor residence high-rise building. According to the incident report, Alicia told them that Tyreek had been in a lot of arguments with her daughter recently and was very aggressive and quote-unquote impulsive, and that he has quote-unquote anger issues. The report states that the two got in an argument after Keita basically told Tyreek that he wasn't being a good parent to their baby daughter. Tyreek, in the report, seems to acknowledge that he got irritated over the comment, but both parties state nothing turned physical, and it's important to note in the report that no arrests were made and no charges have been filed. We confirmed with police again on Wednesday. They said the investigation is closed. Nobody is in further trouble or under any sort of police investigation from here. That being said, Keita Vaccaro, according to court records we obtained, filed for divorce from Tyreek less than a day later on Tuesday. In the document, she doesn't have to necessarily cite anything as a reason why they divorced, but she did say that it was just a broken marriage. There was no other reasons given. So
right, it would seem to be related, Ed, right? I mean, the fact that it happens right after.
She did list the date of separation as April 7th, and of course they got married back in November 2023. So it does appear that the two incidents are related, but that's where everything stands at this point.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely crazy to hear that, and anyone who has obviously been following the NFL offseason will know that Tyreek Hill has sort of indicated at times that he would like out of Miami, that he'd like to play football somewhere else. Retirement has even been talked about. So again, a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen on the football field, and now he's got all this going on in his personal life. Speaking of the team that at least is his employer as we sit here and talk right now, guys, the Miami Dolphins did release a statement on the Tyreek Hill situation. Here's what they had to say. On Monday, we were informed that the police were called to Tyreek Hill's home. And after conversations with Tyreek and member of his family, the police departed the residence without further incident, and the case was closed. We have since been in communication with Tyreek and the NFL, and will have no further comment on the matter. So it seems like this is probably a closed deal unless we learn anything further. There's not going to be any sort of fine or suspension, nothing like that. Although I do think you could obviously see a world where Tyreek Hill never wears a Miami Dolphins uniform again. But he's going to play football, obviously. He has been through things in the past. He's had legal troubles years back, as we all know. We've covered it here on TMZ Sports. Bottom line, he's an absolutely fantastic football player. Marriage over, no arrest here. He will be playing football. You can bet that. Keep checking TMZ Sports. Despite the fact that there was no arrest here, we're going to have 911 calls, audio, things like that. So check the website for the latest. Wrestling legend Mick Foley on the mend after a scary car wreck earlier this month. Up next on TMZ Sports, the WWE Hall of Famer updates us on his condition in an interview you won't see anywhere else. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike and Mojo. Mojo, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Mick Foley, WWE legend, was involved in a really serious car accident on April 1st. In fact, a lot of people, being it was April Fool's Day, a lot of people thought that this was something that Mick was playing a joke on his fans. No, not the case. He was actually involved, and obviously what you can see there could have been a really bad situation for Mick. Now, that's not to say that he wasn't injured, Mojo, because he was. He sustained a head injury and some other bumps and bruises. So now, again, a couple weeks later, the question is, how is Mick doing? Well, we were lucky enough to catch up with the pro wrestling legend, and that's exactly what we asked him.
All things considered, I'm feeling much better than I have any right to. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty sore, especially through the upper part of my chest, shoulder blade, upper back on my right side. But just a couple little nicks and cuts on my knees. Things could have been a lot worse. A lot of cuts on my hands, wrists. But, I walked out of there. I did not miss a single day of work. I was back on the road in 2 days and doing pretty good.
Your background, and the type of matches you were known for, does something like that prepare you to just be able to deal with adversity, deal with pain, deal with stuff like that?
Probably, but I think Lady Luck and the man upstairs had something to do with it. And just as you're talking, I'm like, oh, I know why I'm so sore. Seatbelt. But I'd much rather have a bruise on my chest than have not had a seatbelt on. So I think if there's one lesson to be learned, it's like, wear those seatbelts. We lost a fellow wrestler about 1.5 years ago who was not wearing a seatbelt. So if there's a lesson to be learned, it's buckle up for safety.
Gosh, Babcock, you gotta love Mick Foley, right? Like, how do you not love this guy? Look at the car, look at the injuries he sustained, and he used that entire thing just to tell people to buckle up and protect themselves. I mean, how do you not love this dude? Everyone that knows Mick loves Mick Foley. But yeah, this is crazy, right? I mean, you got to think that his background in pro wrestling and the crazy bumps that he became known for prepared him for this. I mean, I don't know. What does getting thrown off the top of Hell in a Cell feel like if you were to compare that to a car collision? I mean, it's probably worse than what the car looks like in the accident that he was just in, right? I mean, this dude took some serious falls, so hate to say it, he's probably got training in collision sports, collision impacts, and car crashes at that. But yeah, it's still crazy to me that he walked away feeling this fine. He's like, got a couple nicks on my hands.
And doesn't miss a day of work, Mojo. Not even a day of work.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Mick Foley's concerned, 2 days recovery, that might as well be a year. I mean, this dude's used to going back to work the next day, if not the same night, or continuing the match after an accident like that. I mean, this is the hardcore legend we're talking about here, but glad he's fine. Glad there isn't any real residual damage outside of the little nicks on his hands and things, but I'm glad he went through the proper channels, got his scans, double-checked everything. Of course, he's going to be sore for a little bit. No major injuries here. Prayers up for the Micker.
Coming up next in TMZ Sports, we're talking to the NCAA tournament's most outstanding player, Walter Clayton Jr., who's going to explain that incredible show of sportsmanship after the NCAA championship game. That's next.
Want to listen to today's show? Now you can check us out on the go with the all-new TMZ Sports podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe and listen. Whereas always, tomorrow's show will be the best show since today!
Welcome back to TMZ Sports, Mike and Mojo. Mojo, Walter Clayton Jr., the superstar from Florida. Boy, did he have a heck of an NCAA tournament. Was named the most outstanding player. He came up time and time again for Florida. He came up big when they were down. Made sure he put the team on his back, made sure that they ultimately were victorious in that big-time matchup against Houston in the championship game. Now, after the clock read 0-0-0-0 Mojo, there was a cool moment that I think showed a ton of sportsmanship here. You saw the last possession there for Houston as Emmanuel Sharp did not get a shot up, Mojo, and was absolutely devastated after his team lost 65-63. Now, just heartbroken that he did not even give his team a chance to see if they could win that game. Walter Clayton Jr. came over, and watch him here. He gives him a little hug and a pat on the back and some words of encouragement in Sharp's ear. Well, we got to the bottom of this, Mojo. You know, do these guys know each other? Why did Clayton Jr. do this? Well, we've got an answer now. So a little bit earlier today, the most outstanding player was working a Raising Cane's restaurant in Gainesville, Florida, not too far away from Florida's campus. And with some of his teammates, very cool to see those guys out there and exciting for the fans. Mojo, when we spoke with Walter, we asked him, we said, hey, what was going on? Why did you go do that? And he explained it. It makes a bunch of sense right now. Take a look.
Honestly, I've talked to my people about it. You know, they kind of talked about, me as a person, being able to do that in that moment. But, yeah, man, Sharp grew up an hour away from me, so I knew him from high school. I understand kind of what he was going through at that moment, so just try to give him a little hug, before and shake a few of the players' hands before I went and celebrated with my team. So it's probably hard seeing someone in pain, even though you're celebrating the championship. No, for sure. Definitely is. It's two sides to the sport, man. It's a good side and a bad side. So, we easily could have been on that side.
Yeah, Mojo, it's like the thrill of victory, but the heartbreak of defeat. And yeah, to see a guy that and who was involved in the last play and the way that all unfolded to not even get up a shot, it's got to be a killer for Emmanuel. So I'm sure that meant a lot to him to have Walter Clayton Jr. come over there and make sure that he was okay.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, shoot, at the collegiate level, it's not usual that you're very tight with your opponents, right?
Right.
So when you win, you're only focused on the win with your teammates, the guys you know. I mean, again, it's not too often where the players that you're playing against you're going to sympathize with. That happens in the pros all the time when players are being traded, they sign bigger contracts for new teams, you have longer careers, your playing career isn't capped at a certain number of years. In the pros, that's very common, but in college, again, to sympathize with an opponent doesn't happen that often. So that was really cool that quickly that he went over and did this, right? I mean, they just won the national championship. They just accomplished their number one possible goal for the season, and within seconds, he went over there to go check in on his buddy, and he didn't hover. I mean, sometimes in those situations when you lost, if you feel like you made a mistake, not saying that this player did at all, that was just fantastic defense. He actually made a very heads-up play by not touching the ball again. You know, he gave his team an opportunity to come to his aid and give him another shot. So, I mean, again, hats off to his basketball IQ there. But, you know, you don't always want the winner hovering over your shoulder, right? It just almost makes this a little worse. Like, hey, man, go do your thing, be with your team, leave me alone kind of a thing. I'm in my feels a little bit here, too. So, I mean, he spent a good amount of time with them. He obviously said something that meant a lot to him. But just to have the heads up, the wherewithal to take advantage of that moment and do that, you got to commend that. Really cool thing. And then he goes back and he parties with his team and they celebrate and they have fun, and you're most outstanding player in the Final Four, and you got a massive new trophy to take back with you to Gainesville. So really cool, man. I mean, obviously this is the guy that's going to do well in the pros, and you got to think too that coaches and scouts, when you see a player that knows how to react like that in moments, it carries a little bit extra weight.
Yeah, I agree, Mudge. I think scouts, coaches, front office execs, they know that this guy, I mean, he can score. He can score with the best of them. He's a super clutch player. But I think that goes to show, one, that he's a good dude and that he's got great leadership qualities. So obviously an incredibly bright future for Willie Clayton Jr. And I think for Emmanuel Sharp, he will come back. The reality is he probably should not even have gotten that ball back. Houston Star should have taken that shot and not put Emmanuel in that situation. But the game's done. Florida's a champion, Mojo. Again, congratulations to them. As for us, we are out of here. We got one more day left this week, Mojo. We got a big show planned for tomorrow. It's going to be great.
That's right, Babcock. It'll be the best show since today.
I'm a lawyer.